For our final exams, the teachers decided it would be best to put us against themselves. Brilliant. Though, like every other exam, teams weren't pulled from names in a hat, but were assigned based on who didn't get along, and other factors. So Katsuki was teamed up with Midoriya, who was just fucking shaking at the thought. I was put with Shota, probably because he wanted to go hard on me, but I was teamed with Todoroki, which was cool, I guess. Last time I was teamed with him, I didn't do anything, but ever since UA Sports Festival, he seemed to talk more and get more involved in things. Anyway, Todoroki and I were up first to meet our deathly match. I had gone up against Shota many times, but still, I was a bit worried. Probably because part of me was going to be distracted protecting Todoroki, though part of me also told me that he would be just fine. Right when Nezu sent us off, we ran into the little town filled with rows and rows of houses. "I have a plan. Can you flash your eyes?" Todoroki asked, which really grabbed my attention. "I'm not sure you understand my quirk," I said, but nevertheless I understood what he wanted. "I'll tell you when he's found us." I continued to read Todoroki, which literally just told me, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. We needed to run. If we fought Shota, we would be sure to lose. When I wasn't getting told which foot to step with, I stopped running and grabbed the back of Todoroki's uniform, pulling him to a stop. He found us. Quickly, I stepped into the tear, looking around. I found him, crouching down on a building a few feet from us. Todoroki, on the other hand, was looking around left and right trying to figure out where I had gone. That's when I came back, grabbed his sleeve and yanked him in the other direction. "He's over there, this way." We ran as fast as we could. Our best bet is to run, since he can erase both our quirks. The best option would be to find someone with a quirk he can't erase and let them take the lead on the battle. "Yeah," Todoroki agreed. I didn't get far after that until I felt the familiar scarf wrap around me and throw me into a window. Flying through, I hit a couch, which tipped over and landed on top of me. I glitched out from underneath it, running up the stairs to jump out the window. As I was jumping, I glitched near Todoroki and held onto his shoulder to catch my breath. "What just happened? Are you okay?" I patted on his shoulder and chuckled. "I'm fine, and I saw the exit." I glitched Todoroki, who was the first person I glitched that wasn't Katsuki, over and over until we got closer to the exit. When I went to go glitch again, I stopped. I hadn't realised my stamina and energy was low, and my quirk couldn't take the both of us, so I ended up coughing up blood while leaning over. "YN!" Todoroki kneeled down and I half smiled while looking up at him. "I don't have enough for the both of us." Todoroki didn't hesitate. "Then go yourself." I scoffed and stood up, glitching away without another word. My glitch brought me a few feet from the exit, and I stumbled through, collapsing on the ground. That area was a lot more ground to cover than I thought there would be. Reinforcements arrived. Students passed. The orange glow from my eyes shined on the ground, and I waited there until it flickered away. That's when I could really feel the pain. I think my arm was fractured. Some bone in there somewhere. I held onto it as I stood up and looked up to see Todoroki walking towards me. Before I could say any sarcastic remark, I blacked out. When I woke up, I headed back to the observation room to see Bakugou and Midoriya were next against All Might. Naturally, Midori was excited, since him and All Might seemed to have this thing. Well, I knew they did. Their battle was crazy and had the whole class plus the teachers on the edge of their seats. They were both thrown into the building, beaten up, and knocked out by the end of the battle. I don't know why, but whenever Bakugou would get hurt, my stomach dropped. Okay, I knew why, but I didn't want to admit it. I couldn't admit that I started to gain this liking towards the stupid, loud ash blonde with anger issues which was getting bigger than my future goals for becoming a hero. The last bit of the battle was unexpected. Bakugou held All Might back in order to let Midoriya escape through the exit. But he was hurt, and badly. Even though Midoriya was so close, he ran in to help Bakugou, punched All Might in the face, and carried Bakugou, who was quite unconscious. He collapsed after hearing from Nezu that he passed the exam. Before they could even be brought out, I ran to the nurse's room. They ended up getting there before I did anyway. That's UA for you. I was met with a little surprise. When I opened the door, All Might quickly popped into his hero state, but he sighed once he saw me. As I closed the door, he let it out, and became the frail, weak skeleton. Thank God it was you, All Might said as he stood over Midoriya's bed, staring down at him. He looked sad almost, and sighed before speaking. The symbol of peace won't last long. You should go rest then, I said, placing a hand on his shoulder. You too, after you heal them both, since you might need your energy for other students. I said to the nurse, who agreed. She healed the two and left the room, with All Might following behind her. There was a chair near Bakugou's bed, and I didn't hesitate to sit down. I stared at his hand, part of me wanting nothing more but to grab it and hold on to it. His hero costume was ripped to shit. The mask was half torn off. His costume shirt was literally non-existent, since the explosions he sent off to fight off All Might were big as hell. They burnt off his clothes right away, including his gloves, which seemed to be more explosive resistant. The part of me took it, grabbing his hand and feeling the roughness of his skin, heat still radiating from his palm. His hair was all messed up, some seemed to be burnt off, and it went in about every direction possible. I reached up with my free hand and combed it out, fixing it back to its original position. Laying my head on the side of the bed, I fell asleep. When? Hey, idiot, wake up. I slowly lifted my head up and repositioned my hand, gripping the other hand in mine. Oh, hey, I mumbled, rubbing my eyes tiredly with my other hand. What's up? What the fuck are you doing here? Waiting for you to wake up, I mumbled, but I fell asleep. Bakugou looked over at Midoriya, who was still quite passed out. You worked well with him, Katsuki. He quickly looked over at me, but his angry expression dropped. What? Oh, forgot I fucking gave you permission to call me that. Bakugou looked down at the sheets laying on top of him. Want me to stop? I don't fucking care. I smiled and pinched his cheek. Oh, but you do. Bakugou slapped my hand away, hitting the injured part of my wrist, the part he exploded, which still had bandages wrapped around it. I winced a little, pulling the hand to my chest, but looking at Bakugou with a smile. I'm fine, I reassured, before he could do anything. My hand gave his a light squeeze to try and calm him down. I fucking did that. I told you to. Actually, more like I begged. We could have fucking found another stupid way if we had more time. Bakugou mumbled under his breath. We didn't have enough time. We sat in silence for like 2 minutes. I got out in 2. I got you out in 2 as well. And then we argued for the remaining 4 minutes. Yeah, well, I fucking hurt you and I hate myself for it. God damn it. Bakugou's hand slipped from mine and he threw the sheets off to the side, quickly standing up and walking towards the door. I could tell his balance was off. He really shouldn't be moving, and especially that quickly. I ran over, wrapping my arms around him in a way to stop him from walking away and to stop moving. Please get back in bed, I whispered, my cheek placed against his bare back. You shouldn't be moving right now. Let me the fuck go, glitch. I sighed when he didn't give in. Guess I'll have to use this move I've been working on. I turned my glitch on, focusing as hard as I could, and glitched Bakugou onto the bed. Just him. I had worked a few times with Shota, so I knew it was possible, but I didn't think I'd get it almost perfect. He just wasn't perfectly centered in the bed. The hell? I walked over to Bakugou and grabbed his hand, pushing him lightly back down as he tried to get up again. If there's any part of you that cares about me, you'll lay down, go back to sleep, and let me bring you a new set of clothes for when you wake back up. Bakugou stared at me for what seemed like hours. His red eyes seemed to stab into mine with an angry glare, though after a few actual minutes, Bakugou closed his eyes with a strong huff and fell back on the bed, sucking in through his teeth when he landed. I smiled and threw the covers back over him before leaving the room to get the clothes as I promised. Now, I actually didn't know how to get Bakugou a change of clothes, so I thought about the guys in the class. That was about the same size as him. Kirishima was the closest. Kirishima, come here. I dragged him from his chair while he was talking to Kaminari. Whoa, YN, he chuckled, getting his balance. I pulled him up pretty hard. What's up? Do you have a change of clothes? Should you be asking a girl? I'm not that feminine, YN. Plus, Dan is the more feminine one. I pushed his shoulder. Not for me, for Bakugou. Bakugou? Bakugou. I fixed, swearing under my breath that I had really fucked that up. Kirishima's eyes lit up. Were you gonna call him Katsuki? I sighed and started to walk away, completely giving up. Maybe I could ask Todoroki for something? Before I could even find him, Kirishima pulled me back by the shoulder. Wait, let me look in his bag. Just wait here. Kirishima let go of my shoulder and headed to the boys' locker room. I took a seat next to Kaminari, leaning back and crossing my arms. How far have you gone with him? Shut the hell up, Electrify. Wow, you even give harsh nicknames like he does. Kaminari, shut up. But you like him. I raised a hand and he flinched a little, holding up his hands. You slap, I surge. I slap, you surge, I glitch. What would teleporting away do for you? 1, it's glitching. 2, I looked around as I rolled up my sleeves and grabbed my knives which sat on the table. I was too lazy to bring them back to the locker room, and enabled my quirk, turning my eyes on as well as the quirk. Just didn't go anywhere. Raising the knife with Kaminari starting to flip out, I cut a small line down my arm. I'm immune to pain. Whoa, wait. Let me electrocute you. Kaminari had this adorable little look in his eyes, and I sighed as I reached my arm out. He grabbed my wrist, above the bandages, and surged. You didn't feel any of that? I shook my head, to which his eyes widened more, if they could, and he stared at where he shocked me. Bamboozled. I rolled my eyes and wrapped the small cut up a little, then rolled down the jacket sleeves. Actually, that's when I realised I was still wearing Bakugou's jacket. After that, Kirishima came over with a set of clothes, but not before looking at me weird. What? I asked, slowly grabbing the clothes as I raised an eyebrow. Why are your eyes glowing? Kaminari can explain. Talk to him. I slapped his shoulder and headed back to the nurseroom, in disbelief that I started talking like Bakugou.